Another week is done, and thank goodness for that. Today was really tough. Oh man. The hardest thing about today was just starting because I didn't want to do it. I was like, no, I want to take a break. I just want to divorce myself from this novel. I don't want to touch it anymore. It's been a little annoying being consistent with this right now, but boy, I actually, as much dread as I was feeling building up to when I actually started writing, the release, oh gosh, it feels so much better. I feel so much better. Uh, because I actually did it. And it's a sigh of relief. Oh, thank goodness I got that done. And I'll be honest. The end of this chapter is a little weird. It's a little odd. But I think I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, I mean, having read through the 1,000 words I did today, um, oh man. The scene, it was interesting. I was asking yesterday, can his dialogue exchange, can Charlie's dialogue exchange with Dax about the questions he has about himself, can that last 1,000 words? And the answer is yes, and he didn't even really dialogue about it that much. Because the way that the scene really was going, it became much more interesting and much more obvious that Charlie would run away from that scenario. And that the following week, next week's chapter, that dialogue exchange would actually happen. But Charlie would not only have it with Dax, he would have it with the pastor as well. And he would weigh the pros and cons. And then he would make a decision for himself in week 5. And yeah, that's interesting. The way that this plot line is heading is actually really interesting. I'm really happy with it. The alligator, well, one of the alligators, I should say, pops up in the final, paragraph of the chapter. It's a really nice moment. And the dude, he pees himself. Again, that's the opening of the novel. Involves Charlie peeing himself. And so he does it again. I was like, is this a little over the top? And the answer is, well, yes. But do I really care? No. I could see that happening. And that could have been, he felt frozen with fright. Like he didn't want to have this conversation. And he was paralyzed by fear. But with the added element of the alligator inching closer and closer to him, he bolts. First he pees himself, and then he runs away. Because he's embarrassed and horrified all at the same time. And I can't believe I just spoiled the ending of this chapter for you guys, but that's not that big of a spoiler. Everyone knows what type of story this is, and we're not there yet, but we're getting there. We're getting closer and closer to the real meat of the story. And Charlie is a wonderful character, a wonderful tool to introduce the big themes of the novel. And yeah, it's been great so far. I've been really happy with the way the first 3 chapters have gone. I'm looking forward to chapter 4. It's interesting the way chapter 3 ended. I actually kind of have ideas of where I'm heading in 4. And by the end of chapter 4, I'm sure I'm going to have some pretty solid ideas for 5. Chapter 6 through 15, that's a little bit more muddy at the moment. But you know what? I'll get there when I get there. 1 week at a time. 15,000 words is done. And within two. Okay, let me do the math in my head. On Wednesday of next week, the story will. Well, actually, on Thursday, I should say. The story will literally be as long as the first year of Fallen Leaves and the second year of Fallen Leaves. Not combined, but individually. And within week 5, it'll be as long as the third year of Fallen Leaves has been. Yeah, this is a much slower pace than I'm used to dealing with. I'm not sure how that's translating. I've been really happy with it, especially the way these chapters are ending. Now, I think some of the feedback might be that people might actually want it to be spread over more than 15 chapters because these are ginormous chapters and they cover a lot of different topics. That's just the nature of how it's gone about so far. But anyways, we'll deal with it. We deal with it. I will catch you guys next week. I get a break. Remember the mantra, the Gator. It's exactly what you think it is.